Welcome, welcome. Once again, this is your host, Dedrick, the Cookie Man. Thank you guys for tuning in and everything. And my co host, my wonderful, wonderful co host, Jessica Fields, she'll be here shortly. Please, I just want to say welcome, welcome. We're about to enter into May of 2005. That is crazy. We've already gone through a quarter of the year already. It just seemed like not too long ago we just started the year. So, but anyway, so thank you guys for tuning in and whatnot. I just really want to welcome you all. Tell some more people to come through. If you would like to be on the panel at any given point, please let us know so we can go ahead and get you on the stage. Once again, this is your host, Dedrick. And here is Mrs. Fields. I done talked Miss Fields up. Look at that hair. Oh my Lord. Lord. Oh Lord. That is something else right there. Oh. That's a beautiful hair right there. And it is all hers, ladies and gentlemen. That's all hers, okay? She didn't attach nothing to it. That's all hers right there. So but so tonight's
give me 1 second. Miss Momo is demanding me.
Okay, all right. So our topic today is going to be we're going to be talking about a multitude of topics. We're going to be segueing as we segue, but we were discussing shortly the disturbing behavior we've been seeing. We're just going to be talking about why some of these disturbing behaviors are even happening. We don't really know why because we wouldn't be doing it. Because so I'm gonna tell you the truth. But one in fact was the fact that we're seeing more and more female fights that are out here, and it's just getting ridiculous. A lot of the times, we see a whole lot of guys, and they're brawling or whatever, but the females are taking over the fight game, the virtual fight game. They like this. It's crazy. I saw a fight video the day before yesterday, and stuff like that, and it's just disturbing how it can. To me, it seems like the hotter it gets, the more people get into these fights. I don't know what it is about the heat and fighting. I don't know what's going on. I guess in the winter you're frozen, so you're not trying to be fighting nobody. But now more so than ever, you have these females out here. They're just they it's crazy. I can't put together why this phenomenon is happening because and it's just really disturbing and whatnot. I wish I had one of the videos I could show you guys, but this is crazy. I want to make sure get everything moved out of the way. But yeah, but those are the things that we kind of have started to observe moving into the summertime and stuff like that. It's just like folks has just lost their mind. I don't understand. I don't because my thing is I know for me, I might be oh Lord, um sorry, um I think this the pharmacy calling me, but but yeah, I don't know what is really going on, and it just seems like it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse. um I don't know what to even say. I just don't know what to even say because it makes no sense. It's almost like they're wild animals and they're set out here just fighting and scrapping worse than the guys are. So
So I dropped my daggone phone. Look, it's that bad. Look, the universe knew. The universe knew. They said, wait, Jessica,
Yeah.
hold on now. We know you. But that was and that's why when we were talking about, what to speak of, I'm very concerned about, and maybe it's just my algorithm. Maybe I need to change it.
Mm-hmm.
But it almost seems like every other video is Black women fighting. Even fighting boys or men. So it's just like, I don't like, is it the vaccine? Is it chemtrails? Like I almost feel like did something happen that shifted the world to where our women have just gone ballistic? And because I don't see this, in my world. And I think I mentioned this last time. Like I feel like we're on two earths. And I'm on this earth, and then there's this earth, and there's like this plexiglass in between the two earths. And I'm seeing the old earth through this glass. Because when I leave the house, I don't see these things. If it wasn't for social media and the media in itself, I wouldn't know any of this was going on. So it's just like I'm trying to really wrap my head around why, especially our Black women. And I know people will say, well, white women fight too. I'm not talking about them. Well, Asian women fight too. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about our sisters that are like constantly in the streets, getting half naked at that. Like they literally take off their clothes to fight. And I'm like, I don't think I ever took off my clothes to fight. Like, because I'm trying to keep the least scratches off of my legs and my kneecaps,
Yeah, right.
So it's just like, where are we right now? Like, where are we? But then you wonder why people, and obviously I know I have to state this because it's on YouTube. Obviously, we are not talking about all Black women. We got to make that clear. But unfortunately, the loudest are always the most seen, right? And unfortunately, the negative is usually the loudest, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's very concerning the amount of fights that I have seen between Black women, more than men. More than men. I mean, I've seen some with men too. Don't get it twisted, but not in the same amount that I've seen with Black women. And like, what's wrong? Like, talk to me, sis. Like, that's what I'm saying. Talk to me. I know I'm light skinned, but I'm your sis. Believe it or not, we just look a little different. Like, talk to me. What's going on with y'all? Why y'all so angry? Why y'all fighting all the time? And y'all fighting each other. And then I'm on my Drake thing. No new friends. No new friends. Nope. Don't invite me. I'm not.
Because I ain't going.
I'm not going. Nope. I ain't going. Matter of fact, I even thought about you because I was talking to Billy about it one day, and I even thought about you and Rhonda, like for your because I saw a Carnival cruise, right? And I know that y'all do the cruises for the authors and stuff. Now, if I were to come with y'all, I know that y'all not gonna act the fool. So I would definitely come with y'all.
No.
But if it was just like,
fool, but it's gonna be in a good way.
It's gonna be in a good way. But here's the thing, and even if something were to try to pop off, we'd all be like, hey, no, we don't do that here. Oh, we like Wakanda forever. No, we don't do that here. Calm down. But a lot of the events and the things that I see, it's just like everywhere we go, and I'm gonna say everywhere we go, like it just seems to be an issue, and we're fighting. And again, I'm pointing out the women on this. But let me add this. To be fair, I'm gonna say 70% of the time the men ain't no better because they the ones recording. They the ones recording the videos. They're not trying to break it up. They're not trying to intervene. They're like, yeah, get her. So 70% of y'all ain't shit either. Not you.
Well,
you know what I mean.
well, what's going on there is they're waiting for articles of clothing to come off. That's basically what's going on there. So they're too busy trying to make sure they get it on film. So, and oftentimes they're not disappointed. So I'm sorry, but that's just
They've
the truth.
Dedrick, they've literally been getting undressed to fight.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple videos. Like one girl took her pants off, and I'm like, I don't think I ever took my pants off to fight.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's a really good idea to fight someone when you know you're not wearing any underwear, because all shall be revealed. So,
but that's why I say too, like, you know, one of the things that I tell my sons all the time: if you see a fight, for one, you go the other way, unless it involves your brother. Mm-hmm. Unless it involves your brother, that's the only exception I'll make.
Right.
Unless it involves your brother, you walk the other way. I don't want to. Do not show me a video of a fight. Do not record a fight. Don't do any of that. You walk the hell away. And I think that when we record those fights, we're just as ignorant as the people fighting.
Man, listen. The viral sensation behavior that people they'll have the need to go viral before they have the need to have some empathy about a situation. Here in DC, they had a guy had fell on the tracks, the subway tracks, the train track, and in the metro. And the very first thing somebody started doing was filming. Not pull this guy up first. The very first thing they started doing was filming. I'm like, you know, it's glad that God fixed it, that there were no trains in the station at that time. And it gave someone else time to pull this man up off the tracks. Because he could have gotten electrocuted, he could have gotten run over, there's a lot of things that could have happened. But the very first thing a person is trying to do is capture it on film. Like, first, like, so you don't care about other human beings. Like that, the very first thing that you are doing is just watching him. Like, that makes no sense. So in relation to the fighting, like, I don't know if people are that bored, or if I don't know what the problem is, but you're supposed to be trying to keep the peace. You're supposed to be trying to sit there and tell these girls don't fight each other. What are you fighting over? Like, literally, like what can there possibly be for you to be fighting each other over to that extent? Somebody said something off their mouth, huh?
Penis.
Okay.
9 times out of 10 is somebody's penis.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll say, okay, let me be fair. 7 times out of 10.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The other 3 is you think you all that, or you said you bumped into me. The other 7 is penis. It's penis.
You probably right.
Yeah, it's penis.
I just don't. I don't. I'm sorry, but if I gotta go fight over a girl, you can have her. Because obviously there was some kind of confusion as to why you felt like you can talk to her if she was committed to me, supposedly, and she allowed certain behaviors or certain situations to happen for you to feel like you can come up in my face with your chest poked out. So some of that is on her. I'm gonna let you have it because now my headache is gone and she your headache now. Because I'm not about to fight over nobody. And on top of that, you don't know what someone has, and that goes to what you just said. Go to in the opposite direction. You don't know if that person has a knife. You don't know if that person has a gun. You don't know what can happen. And while you got holes in you, that other person is still going on with life. You understand? And the thing is people just gotta see. I want to see. Well, listen, I tell you what, there's enough people recording it. I will see it at some point. I promise. I'll see it. I don't need to be right there in the heat of it, feeling the sweat off of them. I don't need to see it. Like I will definitely see it off somebody's phone because they're gonna upload it immediately. Matter of fact, I think they went live.
And like I said, that's why I
So
always tell the boys, if you see a fight, you walk the other way. You do not pull out your phones. Hell, they barely take their phones to school. You do not pull
yeah,
out your phones. You do not start recording. You get the hell out of the way. The only exception is if it's your brother, then you go save your brother and make sure he good. Because if you come home without your brother, you in trouble. But other than that, no, walk away because you don't know what somebody's gonna do. You don't know what kind of day they have. You don't know what they got in their book bag. You don't know what they got on their bodies. You don't know. Next thing you know, you shot up because you sitting there video recording. And the other thing that I'll say, there was a video I watched. I think it was today or yesterday, and one of the things that I noticed, everybody just amped the fight, and to me, that means none of those people are your friends.
no,
None of those people are
no,
your friends. Because if they were your
no.
friends, they would have tried to diffuse the situation. Come on, it's all right. It's time to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Unless it's like a true self-defense thing, then they'll
right,
just make sure nobody jumps in.
right,
That's how
right,
we rock.
right.
Like, okay, she got to defend herself or he got to defend himself, but y'all ain't going to jump in it. But if it was over some minuscule stuff, your friends
Mm-hmm.
will grab you, be like, "Come on, man, come on. We about to go somewhere else. It ain't even worth it. You about to get in
Yeah.
trouble for nothing." So if you are surrounded by people that will pull out their cameras over something minuscule and record you versus trying to get you out of that situation, those people are not your friends, and you need to align yourself with new people. Because guess what? If something happens in that fight between you and that other person, they're not going to jail for recording it. You can go to jail or be charged, or have to pay, restitution or medical bills if you, God forbid, harm that person in a certain manner. Not necessarily death, just, if you did some real harm to them. They can sue you in a civil suit for you to pay their medical bills. Your friend's not going
Mm-hmm.
to chip in for that, but your
Right,
friend could have helped you diffuse that situation.
right.
So again, if it's something minuscule, like he stepped on his sneaker or she looked at me some kind of way, if that friend ain't stop you from doing that, that's not your friend. Get you some new friends or no friends. I prefer no friends.
Nope. Right, right,
I got chickens. My
right.
chickens is my friends. My children, my
And that,
chickens, and my husband. That's what I got. And my ducks. Those are my friends. Hmm.
but that's true, and that's so true. And I don't think a lot of people really come to that realization. Like if somebody is willing to allow you to be hurt or put yourself in danger, like if you're a hothead and you don't have friends that know how to debt that hot-headedness, like why are they actually your friends? Because and some of the times they're your friends because you want yes men and yes women. You want people around you that's gonna applaud your bad behavior and not correct you because they want drama because they ain't got nothing else going on in their lives. So they want some kind of drama. So you got to be careful when you have people around you that is surrounding you that applaud you in your wrong. You know what I'm saying? And they're your biggest cheerleaders for you to go and fight somebody or hurt somebody or whatever the case is. And they don't think about the flip side of it. Okay, now you're hurt because they did nothing about it to make sure you don't get yourself in a situation that could be detrimental to your health.
And but you said something vital right there. Like if they're in the wrong. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
don't even have to be in the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you could be completely on the right side, and okay, you're offended. You may feel disrespected, but as a friend that if I allow this to go where it's gonna go, my friend can be in trouble. So yeah, we might have to swallow our pride for a second, but hey, come on, sis, get in the car. It's time to go. It ain't worth it. You know what I mean? It's not worth it. I know you mad. I know. Matter of fact, come on, we gonna go. I got a bottle of whatever you like at the house. You know what I mean? Or we can stop and get one because I don't drink liquor. But you know, come on, it's not worth it. You see what I mean? That's what a
Mm-hmm.
friend is to me. Where you just diffuse that situation.
Yep.
Again, the only one that I give like a pass to is like actual self defense. But if it's just some words exchange and a little bit of pride or ego hurt, if you know your friend, like my best friend, let me put it this way, my best friend is a beast. I won't fight my best friend. I won't fight my best friend because I'm gonna get hurt. Like I love her to pieces. I'm gonna get hurt, right? And I'm saying that to say that there have been times where I had to intervene with her and say, hey, I'm not going to say her name. I said, hey, it's not worth it, baby. Come on, let's go have a drink. Let's just go home. Let's go grab something to eat. Yes, I understand you're mad, but look, just cuss me out on the way. You can cuss and fuss and yell and scream the entire trip, but let's just get away from this situation because I know that if you react to this situation, you're going to be in trouble. And I don't have bail money for you. I don't. So let's just diffuse the situation. That is what I call a friend who will do that versus pulling out their cameras and starting to record it. Someone, yeah, whoop her butt, and F this and F that. Nah, that's not a friend to me. Hey, Maurice.
I agree. Good day, Maurice. Good night. How you feeling? Welcome to the stage.
We can't hear you. We still can't hear you. Can you hear us?
You got to turn your mixing board on. You ain't got the mixing board.
Yeah. How about now?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right. How we doing, y'all? How's everybody feeling?
Going okay.
All right.
Going okay.
Okay.
I see you got your little picnic table on today.
Yeah. Every now and then. Gotta feel festive.
You feel festive. Okay. What's the occasion? It's May 1st.
It's May 1st. It's the high part of spring.
Oh, okay.
This is where we do the picnics. You gotta get the picnic spirit in you, man.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Just don't put no raisins in your potato salad. We good.
I don't know what you just said. That was blasphemy. Yeah, I didn't hear a word you said.
Just don't put no raisins in your potato.
I don't hear a word you're saying. You're speaking a different language.
Yeah, like, he heard you, but he just ain't heard you.
Stop speaking that foul language.
Gotcha.
That's that demon tongue.
But yeah, we just talk about disturbing behavior. Jessica pointed out that we are seeing more and more female fights, and they fight more than men are now. And that's what we talking about. We just talking about, just disturbing types of behavior.
Oh, that's all? Women fighting? Bro.
Well, the way, when we brought up the topic,
I was telling her that here in DC, there was a guy that.
Oh, he's freezing.
Yeah, he's cutting out.
Did I cut out?
Yeah, you cut out.
All right.
Well, while he fixes his, I was just bringing up the fact
I'm just going to switch over to my other laptop then.
All right.
Okay. Amongst my timeline, I'm seeing a lot of females that are fighting. Not only are they fighting each other, they're fighting young men. They just seem to be like wild right now. I actually see less fighting from the young men than the females. I mean, I'm sure you scroll your Facebook and see the same thing, or your social media, where it seems like every event that they're in attendance in let's say flocks. I'm going to use the word flocks. That is bound that somebody's going to fight, and then some of them even get half naked to fight. And I'm like, why are you taking your pants off to fight? So, like, are you doing this just for attention and likes, or? So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with this whole female, and I'm saying female for a reason, because a woman doesn't conduct herself in that manner.
A lady.
And it's kind of disturbing to me.
But well, I mean, my initial reaction on it is you got to be careful with the internet, because the internet it has its algorithms and it pushes certain things a little bit more often than others. Then there's the whole echo chamber. It might be the friend circle that you have on social media. But because I've been seeing the same thing, but I'm always skeptical if I keep seeing a lot of something and I want to try to draw a conclusion, because a lot of times it's not a real representation of what's going on for real.
Well, I understand the algorithm, and I actually mentioned that, like, my algorithm, maybe I need to change that up. But then there are some things that, like, it's like, let's say, for example, Law and Order. I'm not talking about the show, but there's like a group that they like present these cases. So not only are women seemingly fighting more, but they're also committing a lot of heinous crimes against their own children, for the most part. And it just kind of makes me sad, but at the same time, it just makes me curious as well. Like, what did they endure in their lifetimes for them to be so angry all the time and to make them commit the crimes that they do?
It could be also another phenomenon of it just being recorded more now. Probably was always happening.
Yeah.
In the depths of the circles that you don't see, but now with the ability to record it, it's being presented a little bit more. I mean, if you want to ask the question of why, what happened to them that they're doing this or doing that, that's a whole different conversation. We can get into that.
Well, yeah, no, I did mention that as well, where, back in the days, we didn't have, well, what I had mentioned was like, for example, I tell my boys that if they see a fight, they are not to record it. You are to get the hell away from the fight. You're not to whip out your phone and start recording, because you don't know what may happen. Somebody can pull out a weapon or something like that, and your goofy ass is sitting there recording. Next thing you know, they're knocking on my door talking about your son is dead. And I say it just like that because I don't sugarcoat with my kids. So I tell my sons all the time, that's like the goofiest thing ever. I get that it can be a good thing because sometimes it can be used for evidence, but it just seems like, and that's what I mentioned as well, like, what's worse than the 2 people fighting or the 7 people or however many people is the ones that's recording it, because they're actually, what's the word? They're actually, what the frick word am I looking for right now?
They're complicit.
They're complicit. Yeah. It's like you're antagonizing it. You're making it viral and things like that. That's why, like, for example, Maurice knows, but matter of fact, both of y'all are in the tough collective discussions groups. You see, I don't promote fight videos. I do not approve any videos that are of fighting, because me and the admin team, when we first got together and discussed the rules, we said that we don't want to promote that type of activity. It's bad enough that it happens, but we're not going to continue to recycle it throughout the internet, at least not in our group. you know. So that's a problem in itself as well when people are recording it versus trying to intervene, trying to diffuse it, especially when you call them your friends. You know, if I'm Dedrick's friend and I see Dedrick getting hot, well, I ain't gonna say me because I'm a woman and I'm not about to. I don't care if he is shorter than me. I'm gonna go get Billy. Billy, yo, Dedrick acting up, or somebody messing with Dedrick. Can you go get Dedrick? Because we don't want him to get in no trouble. Can you go get him and pull him to the side and remove him from the situation? And guess what Billy would do? That's what he would do because that's what friends do. So these people that are out here recording you, talking about, ooh, he messed her up, and ooh, like those are part of the problem too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know, like, because we grew up when we grew up, and when these guys used to get in fights and there were these circles that formed, the fights how I remember them, they were usually pretty short fights, and usually the beef would be squashed right then and there after the fight was done. And I think due to the power of men, fights end quickly, right? It's like one shot, one good shot, and the fight's over. But I think with women fights, women have a tendency to not be able to deliver that much damage to one another. So those fights tend to go on for a long time. And then there's more opportunity for more severe damage to happen. And also, women don't tend to let go. They got to get their lick back.
Or get their hair back.
Yeah.
But for me growing up, like, excuse me, I don't remember that. I remember me squabbing out, and matter of fact, and after that, we was friends again. Like,
oh yeah,
we were friends again. For the most part, we weren't best buddies hanging out together, but we was like, yo, you good? All right, I told you stop messing with me. All right, you know what? You right. Let me go put a pack of peas on my eye because my eye swole. And you know what?
So maybe it was the time because I remember the guy fights. Most of the fights I ever got in, because I used to scrap a lot, and most of the fights I got into, I became cool with them afterwards too. Every now and then it would flare up because everybody gotta check your respect one way or another. But then after the fight, it was like we're good, and we move on with our life. When I saw the girls fight, though, that thing would go on for like a week. They go on to the next week, the week after. They just try to find ways to get each other. They try to jump each other. They try to. It keeps going.
But it's getting bad out here.
Yeah, no. I think it's just worse. I don't know. From what I'm seeing, you used to see the guys, especially once you get into the whole gang culture, the guys would get bad, right? It would be bad. There's no excusing it. But these girls in the gang culture, they take it to another level. And it's crazy reckless. It's crazy reckless.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think I'm at the point, like, unless I know you and you are part of my circle and I know you got a good head on your shoulders, don't invite me to the cookout. I'm not coming.
Yeah. I don't know if y'all see this scar on my forehead, but that was. I remember I went to a time that I stopped going to house parties because I caught some glass in my forehead. I thought I lost my eyesight. In a house party because someone got too drunk, and I was like, I was done with house parties for a long time. I ain't about that.
But I mean, my thing is people's emotions lead them in a whole lot of the things that goes on. People are not thinking, and because they're not thinking, they are led by their feelings. and it's always feelings in front of everything. Feelings, and a lot of the times logic goes out the window. So when I think of girl fights, all I see and hear is emotional discharges, just emotional, and and that's why they go on for so long, because not only are you contending with their female egos or their feelings and their emotions, now they don't want the other one to get the upper hand. So sometimes they lock into their hair and stuff like that, and they hold on for dear life. Or
that's all they're doing. That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I mean,
my thing is,
no, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying that's how I see things sometimes, because that's all they're doing is a whole lot of emotional outbursts and stuff like that. And sometimes if you slowed it down and echoed out and zeroed out the outside noise, a lot of what they're saying ain't even making sense. A lot of it ain't even making sense. Everything is just you saying something and I'm going to respond. You saying something and I'm just going to respond.
Yeah, but a lot of the fights that I see or have seen is all about jumping. And again, I remember back in the days, yeah, your friends might be there, but they not allowing no jumping. They gonna say nope, let them fight one-on-one, right?
Right.
Am I mistaken?
Right.
And then they make sure they might be in that circle, but they're there to make sure nobody else is jumping into that fight. Now, if somebody else jump into the fight, yeah, we might have some problems. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, we have.
But now it's like they're going. There was one video I saw. They went. It was like it had to be like at least 7, 8 girls on one girl, and they could not get this girl down. So obviously, I called them weak because that's just what I said. Because if it's 7 of y'all and y'all couldn't even get her to the ground, that means you already knew that you couldn't beat. God bless you. God bless you. You couldn't beat her, and that's why you decided to jump her, right? You know, so it's like there's no fair fights anymore. There's not even fair fights. I'm not against fights because I know we're all going to squabble from time to time, you know, but there's no fair fights anymore.
Nah.
I mean, I got jumped. Let me tell y'all, I got jumped once, right? I never forget it. I got jumped. I got in trouble to a certain extent. I got jumped once. I was living in Buffalo, New York. 5 girls jumped me. I took my whooping. I did. And guess what? What you just said there, I think it was Dedrick that said it. When I came home, I cut my hair. My dad was pissed because I had hair down my back. But I knew the first thing that they always went for was my hair. And they would wrap my hair around their hands so they would have control of me. I couldn't do much. So I put my hair in a ponytail and I just took the scissors and said, snip, snip, snip. That next week, I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I skipped school every single day.
Oh, yeah?
I caught every single one of them by themselves. And I wore their tails out.
Yeah, she got a lick back. She wasn't.
Yeah, I will, but I did it fairly. Now I got in trouble for skipping school, but my dad wasn't that mad because he was like, "That's actually pretty good." Like, how mad can I really be?
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah,
me neither.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Yeah, he was kind of like, "Well, you shouldn't have skipped school. Maybe you should have came and talked to me." But good job, baby.
Good job.
You know,
good problem solving skills.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I skipped school every single day.
Man, but you got to do what you got to do, because otherwise you're just going to be the person who gets kicked on all the daggone time.
Oh yeah, they wasn't going to stop. If you didn't do that, they weren't going to stop.
No, and in my case, I was always the shortest, so they thought that because I was the shortest, I was an easy target. Little did they know, I was raised by my grandma. I have a ton of cousins. We always wrestled, fought. We were rough. We were country boys. So that kind of turned out bad for them because I never started nothing, but God knows I'll finish it. My grandma always told me if you ever get into a fight, you better finish, because if you get beat up, you're gonna come home and get beat up.
Right.
I was like, wow. So I made it a point. If I got suspended, and there was one time that I did, and you know, because the assistant principal felt that I started the fight based off of the condition of the guy and his clothes, and I'm like, no, I didn't start it, but he wasn't about to get away with what he just did. He wasn't about to do that. So, you know,
the fights I got into was because they went after you because you were short and small. They came after me because, I mean, I wasn't that actually. I came to my growth spurt late, so they came after me because I was quiet. I never said anything. I always kept to myself.
Right.
And you know, I never had a clique. Like, you know how in middle school, man, you gotta have a clique. At the lunch tables, right? You had to have your lunch table. And I didn't really have a lunch table. I just kind of snuck in at the edge of a table somewhere. Most of the time I'd probably try to find a way to eat lunch by myself. That's who I was. So because I was quiet, they thought they could mess with me. I remember one of the first dudes that tried me. I was about to put gum in my mouth as I was leaving the lunchroom, and boy snatched the gum piece out of my hand and put it in his mouth and started chewing it, laughing. When I tell you, I slapped the taste out of his mouth. I straight up slapped him, and he was shocked. He was like, "What the fuck, man?" I'm like, "You really? You got something to say?" And then he walked away. And boy was shorter than me. He was this little, but he was feeling nice that day, and he thought he would mess. Yeah, he thought he could mess with the quiet kid that don't say nothing to nobody, because I kept to myself.
Surprise!
I got slapped the taste out of your mouth because you done messed. Like, you think you could just snatch something out of my hand like that? And the reason was, he don't know, I had an older cousin that used to beat my ass every week.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, same here. Like, I was raised around all my male cousins. Mm-hmm. So, but for me, like, good night, baby, I love you. So for me, like you said, like I was treated rough. There was no mercy. But at the same time, one of the things that my father always instilled in me was not to get in trouble in school. Right. That was the one thing. Do not get in trouble in school. But like, he had to clarify that after a while. He said, well, wait, baby. No, I'm not saying that you don't defend yourself. You just don't start no stuff. Right. You don't start no stuff. But if somebody's messing with you, now, no, you defend yourself. But for the longest time, I just was like, I don't want to get in trouble. And then people just kept messing with me, and kind of like Maurice said, I was the quiet one. I didn't bother nobody. I minded my damn business. And because I was the quiet one, what you say?
Ain't nobody believe you was quiet.
I was very quiet. No, my report card did not say talk too much.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But because I stayed to myself, and then, you know, to be honest with you, this was when I was in Buffalo, New York, and I lived in the Black community, and being as light as I am in I think it's like an 80% Black community. Mm-hmm. I was picked on a lot just because of my skin complexion, you know. Mm-hmm. So again, I always try to just not be in problems, but they effed around and found out that week because I was done.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you say you got picked on because of your skin color, because I got picked on because of my skin color from Black folk as well. Mm-hmm. And I remember most of them. So I didn't grow up in a predominantly Black area. It was predominantly Hispanic and white. But out of all of those kids, it was the black girls specifically that would be on me about my skin color.
That's the same ones I got it from.
Right? Yeah. So like, it's something. something deep.
Look,
What I got from the Black Boys was,
Of course they did.
they were
they
flossing.
love me. They was like, oh, look at that hair. You got good hair.
Yeah.
You know.
From the Black Boys, I got a whole like status competition about clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Right, there was a lot of that. Like, oh my sneakers cost more than your whole outfit type comments. Right, yeah, that's what I got a lot of that. And then, you know, especially middle school, there was that whole perpetrating, like you got to wear Nike shoes with Nike, you know, warm ups with Nike jacket, Nike shirt. God forbid you mixed an Adidas in there somewhere.
Oh my God, no, not some Adidas socks
you
with some
perpetrated.
Nikes.
Yeah, you was perpetrating. And that's what I got mostly from the Black Boys. Now, there was a couple white boys. There was one white boy that tried me, I remember. And he thought he could put his hands, like, you can say all you want to say. You can talk all you want to talk. You put your hands on me. Yeah, he thought he could play those games where like I don't know you like that. Don't touch me. And I slammed him against the locker, and he realized, all right, he's not the one. Let me go find somebody else.
Yeah. I guess you and I had the same kind of situation.
Yeah.
But this one went all the way back to elementary school. And that was one of my first real beat downs I had to dole out. And when I tell you it was a real one, it was a real one. Like, I don't know if I blacked out because I don't remember doing his face like that. But we were waiting in the bus line. It was time to go home. We were waiting in the line, and each bus came in with their color-coded little papers in the windows. We stood in the color-coded line where we were supposed to be. And this little white kid, he came out of nowhere, and I knew who he was, but he just came out of nowhere and pushed me. I mean, yeah, boop.
Child.
What? I'm like, don't push me no more. Leave me alone. He saunter off. Next thing you know, boom, did it again.
It was a whole game.
It was a wrap. It was a wrap after that. By the end of everything, he had his whole forehead was purple because he had two black eyes. He had a busted lip, and I don't know how I went the bridge of his nose. His whole
savage.
Listen, I was the shortest. Like, so when I tell you I beat him like I can't even describe what I beat him like. And I beat him like a drum. I swear I did.
I got a similar story. It happened in, I want to say first grade. It happened in first grade. The only reason I can even tell you this story is because my parents told me this story. I have no memory of it. Zero. And apparently there was a kid that was bugging me in the recess or playground or whatever. And in first grade, I kind of still had an accent.
Okay.
And but one thing I do remember is I was in love with kung fu movies back then. And they were saying, and I love to play fight. So I'm playing fight, but I understood my force. I knew I wasn't really, and then as soon as you weren't interested in play fighting, I didn't want to play with you. Like, I want to play fight with people that want to play fight, or else it's not fun, or you can't go through kung fu movies is here.
Right.
Yeah. Like it's not fun unless you play along. Right? Yeah. So whatever. I don't know exactly how the interaction happened. All my dad told me was like, I don't know what you did to that kid, but you busted his nose wide open. And for the longest time, I never could punch people in the face, and I never knew why. I'll choke you out.
Let me tell y'all. I got a similar story as well. I actually had to go to court.
Oh yeah, you was a vagabond. You was a thug. Yeah, Yeah,
I
man,
actually
you
had
a
to go to court.
delinquent.
I remember the girl's name. Her name was
How,
Courtney.
how long is your record, criminal?
I'm not disclosing all that. I keep telling y'all, don't let this housewife shit fool y'all.
Yeah.
No, but serious, real talk. There was a group of girls,
Mm-hmm.
and I would mind my bit. I'd have my book back on. It's kind of like anybody ever watched Darman, an episode of Darman and bullying or something like that, where
Those
the
fake
kid is
episodes.
just minding his business and the bully just keeps on at him. And so, and it was like 6 months. They was just coming at me, and I would ignore them to the best of my ability. And I'll never forget this day. And she said, one day she said, B, I don't like you. And I was like, well, did the thought ever occur to you that I don't like you either? And now you know how some girls are. They, oh, no, let me take my earring. Before she got the first earring out, pow! And I had her on the ground.
You a delinquent.
But no. I had enough. 6 months of being messed with. I'm trying to just be at school and do what I'm supposed to do.
Yep.
And you keep messing with me.
You run your mouth.
She got 27 stitches in the back of her head.
Excuse me for a second.
She had to get 27 stitches in the back of her head. Because once I got her on the ground, I literally grabbed her by her hair and I banged her head on that. And we all know that the floors at the damn school is not soft.
Good job.
You was a murderer.
Yeah, I was close. I was close. But that's what we say. Stop messing with people because you don't know. You can't push somebody.
You don't know how much, like, I think men for the most part have learned how to control their strength. But it took a while before they were able to.
Right. Now, mind you, I had to be like 15 at this time. So I had no emotional discipline or any. Well, no, actually, I can say that I did because I ignored 6 months of it. I did. I ignored 6 months of it. I'm just like, whatever. I'm going to go do my work and I'm not going to get in trouble in school. And then it's just that one day that I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. I shouldn't have to come to school and just be bothered all the time by you. And for what? Like, I didn't even do anything to you. And like we were talking earlier, you know, you know how you said, like, because of the color of my skin and being raised in the Black community and having my tone of skin with a Black father, it's like, oh, well, you're not Black enough. You're not one of the sisters. You're not part of the sisterhood. So we're going to treat you differently. And I'm just like, for what?
It wouldn't have mattered if he was dark as me or darker. They would have done the same. They would have done you the same thing.
No, not in my experience. I don't believe that.
If they didn't like you, no. But if they don't like you, like my thing is, they didn't like you. It's not they didn't like you.
But for what? I didn't do anything to them. So why didn't they like me?
Because they were jealous of you. What? It doesn't matter. They didn't like you. And so because they didn't like you, they found a reason not to like you. And that was your
No, I'm telling you the reason why they didn't like me, though. I heard it all the time. Oh, you think you're better than us because you light skinned. You think you're better than us because you got good hair.
All right. I know, but just listen to me a second, because I'm pretty sure those same type of people were the ones that were ragging on me about being dark skinned because they thought they were better than me. Right? Like,
I'm just giving you my experience.
No, I understand. I'm just saying I don't think
I can't speak for your experience.
Yeah, I don't think these people don't like you because of the skin color. They don't like you, so they choose something like your skin color to not like you about.
No, that's exactly why they didn't like me.
All right.
I'm telling you that's what it was.
I hear you. But no, yeah. The story you was telling me, bro.
My skin color isn't right. My hair is too good. Their boyfriend said hi to me. My dad was successful. He was a United States Postal Service worker, and I always had money in my pocket, and I always had nice clothing.
Yeah,
So
jealous.
like they're just flat out jealous,
Yeah.
But one of my own sister, well, my half sister, who I haven't spoken to in a while now, my own half sister, was jealous of me, and it was strictly based on my skin color.
Mhm.
And
You
she
got
said
good hair.
that.
You got all that good hair, and you think
You
you're
got
better than everybody.
because my father didn't raise her, but my father raised me. So it's like, oh well, he raised you because your mother's white.
He love you. Yeah, he love you more than me.
He loves
think
you
you're
more
special?
than me because
Yeah.
your mother's white and you have good. And remember, my sister's deaf, right? And you can hear, and you don't have nappy hair. And I'm like, for real? That's what you think?
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, she said all that.
Wow.
So those things, I'm just using that example as to say that those things do exist. So if my own half sister, who is supposed to be my blood, can say those things, I'm sure that other people have said that as well.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
I'm not saying all of them. Because look, one of my sisters, and by sisters I mean somebody that's not kin, that's your complexion. She ride or die for me.
Mm-hmm.
She ride or die for me. So obviously I'm not saying everybody was like that, but no, a lot of people back then were like that, especially growing up in Buffalo, New York, where it was 80% black people, and then they see my light bright damn near white ass, then they see my mama, and they're like, what the hell is this? And you think you better than us, and you got good hair, and like, for real, that shit is real.
Nah, envy and jealousy is a problem.
Right, like I said, I ain't even did nothing.
Well,
matter of fact, I give y'all one example. There was this, I ain't gonna lie, I had this crush on this boy. He looked just like Special Ed.
Oh wow.
Remember the rapper Special Ed?
Yeah.
You remember Dedrick, the rapper Special? I got it made. And he looked just like him. And I always had a little crush on him, whatever, but I was shy, so I never, approached him or nothing like that. But all the girls liked him because he was what? At that time, light skin was in. He was light skinned, had the good hair. So the boy said good morning to me one day, and I'm like, good morning. Yo, I was in a fight like 20 minutes later because I said good morning to him. Because he wasn't paying attention to the darker skinned girl. This is true. But paid attention to me. And she didn't like that. And she literally said it.
Wow.
Yeah, no, girls fight for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, boys will fight over a girl, but that's only after he feels like he's claimed her for the most part. There are some of the crazy boys that be like, nah, that's my girl, even though that's not his girl.
Right.
But those are outliers, but those are some crazy dudes. Bro.
Yeah.
But no, like if everybody knows, because when boys claim a girl, they claim her, right? That's my yeah. If he didn't claim her, but he's got to mess with her, you don't care what she does.
But those fights are always because of disrespect or respect. It's always about disrespect. You know what I'm saying? So men, and this carries over to adult manhood. Is respect is everything to men, right? Yeah. So with a lot of the times when women are sitting there not understanding why we're so upset about a thing, they miss the whole point that you've just disrespected me, or that dude just disrespected me. You know what I'm saying? By doing whatever it is that he did to violate. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of the women don't understand those man law principles. Like you like if you had a woman, and you already understand this. I'm not explaining it, but so as if you don't understand this, but you already understand this. Yeah, but if you had a young lady that you were interested in, let's just say you and I were talking and we just casually talking, and then that chick pops up or whatever the case is, and you just told me that you about to you gonna try to go over there and talk to her. You gonna try to do this. The next thing you know, me and this chick, we talking and calling each other and stuff like that. First of all, I just disrespected you. You literally told me that, hey, this is. It might come to turn. It might come to blows just because of that.
Yeah, no.
A lot of stuff is about respect and disrespect. And that's how men get into some of the fights that they get into because of disrespect. And that disrespect leads to a violation of ego. You violate a man's ego, he's got to reclaim that. He's got to reclaim that respect.
I just want to say that some of us women still hold to that code too. Like, so if my homegirl like a dude, and he like me, and he don't like her, I don't like him.
Right. Right.
I'm just saying.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh well, yeah, okay, well, I'll date. No, but my friend really likes you, and he's like, oh, I don't want her, I want you. Oh well, sorry, that's my friend.
It all depends on. That's why I use the word claim. Like, if you feel like you like, because there's a lot of people you like, but then there's a certain amount of people that you claim. And because I know several guys, those girls they liked, and they was messing around with them. Right. They didn't give a shit. Who else was talking to her? Whatever. I don't care. So, yeah, and these are the girls that would run through her whole entire friend group, right?
Right.
And it wouldn't, whatever. Who cares?
I'm just saying, like, if you like,
puff, pass. That's how they did it, puff, pass.
I
guess your version of claim is my version for a female as like. So, like, if my best friend likes a guy, if my best friend likes Dedrick, and Dedrick says, "Well, I don't like her, I like you," and I'm gonna be like, "Oh, that's nice to know, but yeah, she really likes you, so I'm not going to get involved with." That's a code for me. I'm not crossing that code.
Yeah. Right. For men,
even if I like you, I could like you, and I'll be like, "Yeah, no, because my best friend likes you."
She told me
I'm just not going to do that. That's
I had a situation in college like that, which was a conflict that I never saw myself getting into. And me and my friend, we went to visit these two roommates. One of the roommates was from Trinidad, and I heard that she liked me, and she was quite fine, beautiful hair, gorgeous skin. I mean, just an overall gorgeous young lady. And her roommate happened to be from Jamaica, like one of our mutual friends, like me and my boy, one of our friends. And we knew who she was based off of the fact that he went ape crap over the fact that she was there. Oh my God, the girl bad, oh, the girl. And I'm saying, like, okay, bro, we had an international college. Almost all the girls bad. No, you don't understand, bro. The girl is bad. She bad. Bruh, calm down. Go talk to the chick. Okay, fast forward a few weeks. Me and my boy, we went over to the girls' dorms like we always do. We just go and meander around and see if they need any help with anything or whatever.
Sure.
But with this particular day, we went over there, and I went explicitly to see her roommate. And this young lady, the roommate was still at work study and was going to be getting off soon. So we decided to kind of chill out. My man, I'll call him E. So he and I are just sitting there chilling, talking to her while she cooked some Jamaican food. That smelled good. We just sitting there having a good time. Then the door knocked. It's him, the Jamaican friend we have. So he comes in, and she spoke to him and stuff like that. He sat at the little bar stool. Me and he was sitting on the couch, and she's talking to us. And it was something weird about it because, long story short, she ended up kicking him out and asking me to stay. Now imagine all three of us are friends, and the girl that he's liking is asking me, just me, to stay. And I'm sitting here like, what the devil is going on? Me and this chick don't talk like that. We don't get down like that. But what she explained is several weeks prior, when all the guys were shooting their shot, she was standing. We had a Hawaiian luau, and I was noticing that she was standing. She was a gorgeous young lady, but she was standing by the gate where the stairwells were, and all the guys, some of the guys was taking their turns going over, talking to her, and she'd just be shaking her head. She'd say something, and she'd shake her head. She wasn't unpleasant. She was just, I'm not interested kind of thing. So when I had to take a breather because I was dancing my butt off. Went over, spoke to her, and I asked her why she wasn't on the dance floor or whatever. She's like, I don't feel like it. I'm good. I'm cool. I said, okay, great. Okay, well, my name is, and your name is, whatever. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to dance for you. So if you feel tired, that's me, So made her smile a little bit. And I said, well, enjoy yourself. Talk to you soon. Whatever. I'm going about my business. I didn't ask her for her number. I only asked her what her name was and whatnot. Made my little joke, and went on about my business. I didn't ask for nothing. So fast forwarding to Conrad, he stormed out. When he stormed out, my boy, me and my boy E was trying to leave so that those two can be, alone together or whatever, because we both knew that that's who he liked. Oh my God. She wouldn't have it. She literally told him to get out. You can leave. Bye-bye. When I asked her, why did you do that? Because now he's thinking that I'm sitting here crossing him. I don't cross my homies. I don't ever do that. That's man code for us. We don't cross each other like that. She's like, well, nothing was ever going on between us. I told him he's cool as a friend. I didn't see him that way. And he's still following me around like a puppy dog. What am I supposed to do about that? I said, I didn't know that. Because he's always making us believe that, something's going on. And this chick is telling me that nothing ever happened. So it was a conflict because now he's thinking I'm trying to push up. And I'm like, nah, I never was trying to do that. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, he was one of the crazy ones that try to claim girls that are not his.
Yeah. So that was just weird. And I mean, we ended up hooking up at some point, but that was just like one time because she was boring.
I'm gonna have to point this out. That was a good thing that you did. That whole I'm gonna dance for you. So if you tired, that's me dancing. I caught that. Player. I caught that.
I always had a good sense of humor. I always had a good sense of humor. So it was easy for me to just come up with that. But that was just it. Like with a lot of dudes, they think they gotta put that pressure on them. They always gotta say these sly things. And I'm like, dude, just be yourself and just chill. A lot of women don't like feeling like they're pressured. But you're sitting over there thinking you super Mac daddy. And then she's looking at you, rolling her eyes, and I'm like, I've seen too many women after they turn away from the guy, and I'm standing over there. They look at me and then shake their head and roll their eyes. I'm just like, oh gosh, wow, okay, that's crazy.
No, I just had to point out that was a good one.
Thank you.
I got the player. Yeah, I had to point that one out. Yeah. Like there was one dude when I was surprised. I was actually surprised because I had my boys with me. This was like 5 years ago. And we were in Walmart. We were getting something because the boys wanted to get Monica something for her first birthday. So I was like, all right, come on, let's go. But then of course, we gotta
You told the story. Is the sugar story?
Yeah. And we was in the candy aisle because the boys wanted candy. And he's like, I said, excuse me, I just need to reach but buy you and get these gummy worms that my kids want. And he was like, well, the sweetest thing ain't even on the shelf. And I was like, well, damn, that was good. I did. What? I'm not going to be mad at the man. That was a good one. I said, had you hit me with that about 12 years ago? Because this was like, five, what? It's like 7
Tell the
years
man
ago.
he missed the bus. Like, you missed
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, had you hit me with that 12 years ago, yeah, you might have got some. Like, that was a good one.
He'll put it back in the chamber, take a shot another time. With
Right. I was like, no.
He just got the validation he needed.
I did, because that was a good one. The hell with that. I'm gonna give credit where credit is due.
Hey, I might have to use that on some old lady I don't even want nothing from. And see, I just want to see her smile. Oh, I still got it, baby. Don't look now. Don't let the wrinkle look fool you, ma'am.
Don't worry, I can move the wrinkles out the way. Don't worry.
Oh my God, man. She messed around and take them dentures out fast. What you saying, young blood? What you saying?
Sad, you better watch out.
None of the young girl can do it like that.
Oh
wow.
Man.
I'll tell you how to do it.
Lord have mercy.
That was a good one.
That's good. But yeah, that's just really, really, because that's the thing. You just don't disrespect somebody and cross them like that. You know what I'm saying? And eventually when I end up talking to him, at first he didn't want to say nothing to me. He was in his feelings bad. And I told him, I said, bruh, we known each other for a few semesters now. Have I ever done anything for you to question my integrity or character, bruh? Like, come on, man. Use your freaking head. Oh, right now you in your feelings. And I don't care nothing about your damn feelings if you ain't freaking listening to nothing I gotta say. Because right now you acting like a little chick right now. He looked at me acting like he wanted to fight. I'm like, you can fight, but mama tell you right now, you fighting for nothing. You fighting over a chick who don't want you. So chill out. Ain't nobody gonna tell nobody about this. This ain't nobody else's business. But if you think I'm trying to push up on your girl or on her, dude, she already told me what the real story was. You didn't have to freaking lie to us. There's many women in this freaking college. You didn't have to lie to us. And on top of that, I would never freaking cross my dudes like that. If I knew there was a mutual interest between the two of y'all, come on now. It was just weird though. I was just like, dude.
Speaking on disrespect, I remember there was a fight I got into. So I had gotten in trouble and I couldn't leave this was in elementary school, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was elementary school. So it was in between one of the years in the summer. And there was this kid, like it was like every other year I would get into a fight with him. His name was Bobby. I remember Bobby. Like we would be in the same school year after year. We'd always be like almost all the time in the same classes. And this boy, he would always try me. The first time there was an interaction with me and him was we was playing high hands. Now, I always had an advantage of everybody because my dad used to beat me on my hands.
Mm.
So there was nothing you could do to me that would make me flinch unintentionally. So I caught him once on his hand, and this dude literally punched me in my eye. Now, this is the first goddamn time I ever got punched in my eye. I started screaming and hollering like you wouldn't believe. And he did that sucker in the bus. I didn't know what to do. It's the first time anybody hit me like that.
Right.
And I you start replaying that thing in your mind, and you started mess with it. But anyways, whatever. I eventually let it go. And fast forward to the time in the summer that I was talking about. I got in trouble and my parents wouldn't let me outside. They said I had to stay inside. So I was inside, looking out the window, looking at all the kids playing outside. And Bobby come over with his bike. And he find out I'm in trouble. So he started talking his junk, this, that, and the other. And I'm sitting in the house. I'm already mad because I can't go outside. And then this dude want to come and mess with me. So my blood is boiling. And my cousin was charged with making sure I stayed inside the house. So he outside.
Right.
and he's like, he's whatever. He's kind of talking to his friends and this, that, and the other. And I'm outside. I'm just looking outside the window, and he hears him talking to me, but he didn't do nothing. So I'm sitting there like, all right. And I told him straight up, I'm like, listen, you keep talking like that, I'm gonna hop out this window, and I'm gonna chase you down, and I'm gonna knock you out because everything. That whole punch in the eye kind of came back to me at that point in time. So I would have no problem dealing with this guy. And he's like, whatever, you're not going to be able to catch me on a bike. I'm at that age, I could chase kids down on bikes. I had no problem doing it. I would chase you down on a bike. And people forget bikes got a slow start. So they think, it's got a nice top speed, but that like acceleration in the beginning is slow. And he just kept on talking. I did a couple false jumps to make him jump.
Yeah.
And then after a while, he started letting his guard down. And I did one of these stretch maneuvers, and my ass was through the window while he was blinking. While he was blinking, he was through the window, and he tried to take off, and I grabbed his back tire, and I kept it from rolling. Yeah, I kept it from rolling.
Wow.
And I grabbed him up, and I started choking him out on that thing. And then my cousin broke it up. He's like, get in the house. What are you doing? Yeah, that's me and Bob. And then that's not even the last time me and Bobby had a square up. But it was like every other year, me and him we'd have to remind. I would have to remind him not this, because it was always him that would start something with me. But yeah. So yeah, that respect thing is big. Real big.
But again, going back to just to circle back, it's like when we have apparently from what we are conversating about in the stories that you guys have shared, when we have fights for a pretty damn good reason. But at the end of the day, we just squared up, we knuckled up, we did what we did. And then 9 times out of 10, after that, we was good. You might have had some instances where, okay, we still not good or whatever. But like there was one friend I had. I'm gonna say her name because I don't give a damn, and I still love her, and she's like one of my best friends ever, Keisha. And she was like, she had that little short ponytail, right? That's the one that you always that's the one that fight the worst. And she was like skinny as hell. And she had that one little she had that little short ponytail. The Oni tail. I call it the Oni tail. And she would fight her ass off. And she had brothers. And anytime she wanted to fight me, oh my God, I was just like, no, I don't want to fight you. Please don't. No. Because I knew I was going to lose. I ain't going to lie. I'm going to get my best in, but at the end of the day, I'm going to lose. But then at the end of the day, we ended up being friends again. It was just kind of like, yo, you said some shit I didn't like, and we going to handle it this way. Okay, you good now? All right, we good now. And these days, like, now you just have people taking it to the max. And
no, they're trying to kill each other.
They're killing each other. No, they're killing each other. They're not trying to. They're killing each other. That's my issue, and that was the biggest thing that I was going to aim at. In the segue of this is that, we're not even fighting anymore. And I know people, it's cliche to bring up the what is it? I don't know if it's Friday or next Friday, but I think it's Friday, the first one, where Pops is like where he catches Ice Cube with the gun. And says, why are you doing this? You put that down, you put your knuckles up, and you live to fight another day. But that's true. And we've gone so far away from that. Now these kids, I watched a video the other day, literally, I guess it was in front of a store. And these, kids, they literally ran down and shot. And when I say shot, I mean overkill. Like, it had to be at least 20 bullets in this boy's body. 20 bullets, at least, in this boy's body. Like we're pulling out knives, we're pulling out guns. Nobody's fighting anymore. We've lost the value of life. And I'll say this and I'll land my plane. Where my sons, I talk to them about this a lot, and I think it's important for me to say this because my sons hunt. They know how to use a gun. They know how to use a knife. They fish, they hunt, they gut their fish, they gut their deer, right? So they know what a bullet and what a knife can do to flesh. So I always make sure to.
There's a bad echo.
Oh.
It stopped.
Let me try again. Is it bad now? I'm gonna leave and come back.
It's good now.
There ain't one right there.
Is it good now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
So no, I was just saying that, even for my sons who know how to use a gun, they know how to use a shotgun, how to use a rifle, how to use a handgun, how to, they gut their own deer, they gut their own fish. And so I explained to them, so if you know what it does to a fish and you know what it does to a deer, then you know what it'll do to a human being. And so the only way that you ever should use those type of forces is if you are physically in fear of your life. But these kids these days, they're not even in fear of their lives anymore. They just don't want to lose a fight. They're scared to get lumped up. So they pull out a weapon. I had this girl, and I'm gonna say her name too. Fuck it. Hadassah. Her name is Hadassah. And her cousin. Now, mind you, this was when I was about 13. I'm still small. I'm like, 5'9", 145 pounds. So imagine me at 13. Okay. Hadassah was the size of Queen Latifah at that time. And her cousin was the same size. And they wanted to fight me.
Both earthquake tornado.
And I'm like, oh shit. No, I'm dead ass. I'm like, oh shit. How am I gonna get out of this? And I'm sitting there trying to figure out how I'm gonna get out of this. I'm like, I can't get out of this because they pretty much got me cornered. I can't run this way. I can't run that way. So they started fighting me, and I threw a couple of punches. And then when I saw an exit, and I hauled ass because I'm like, I'm smaller than them, so I'm faster than them. There's no shame in me getting the hell away from them, so I don't get lumped the hell up. Because if I would have stayed, I would have got lumped the hell up. You know what I mean? But never once did I think to myself to say, oh, I wish I had a knife, or I wish I had a gun and just shoot her or stab her or anything like that. No.
Well,
it never crossed my mind.
Well, I'm gonna say it like Bernie Mac would have said, "Well, these punk ass kids, these punk asses." Look, man, they seriously some soft serve ice cream punks. Like people, and I mean female and the male. Like they always want to. Especially, I'm gonna speak on behalf of. I'm gonna speak on the males. You know what I'm saying? You hurt their feelings. They coming back with a gun. Like, bruh, you don't have any verbal kind of. You don't have a verbal repertoire to even say anything. Like, what? Your first response is to shoot somebody, bruh? Like, dude, whatever happened to throwing them hands? If you so right, and then on top of that, they can't fight. That's the problem.
Nothing scarier than a 14-year-old with a gun, unhinged. But yeah, in a sense too, these kids they're not disciplined by any means.
No,
I mean this is the closest to Lord of the Flies we'll ever get to. Remember? Yeah, it's because they're just unhinged, unraised, and don't know how to manage anything. And because the first question you got to ask is where the parents at? Where the parents?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm gonna sound like Maurice for a minute. Maurice is actually gonna like me for a minute.
It's like you don't do that. Don't do that.
This is a problem when it comes to single mother households, because I can tell you for certain that my husband teaches the boys how to defend themselves, right? But he also teaches them he teaches them discipline in it. So, for example, William was getting bullied, right? Oh my God, get off of me. Don't start chickens. Oh shit. Anyhow, so when he was being bullied, the kid kept messing with him. And William is strong as an ox. I ain't lying. And what all William had to do is put that boy in the chokehold and bring him down to the ground. And he literally told the boy, "Stop effing with me." Right? Now, mind you, he had him on the ground. He could have punished him. But my son had the discipline to not do that. Like, so he had the emotional discipline to not wail on him because he already had him on the ground. He could have punished him. And that's like when we went to the school, that's pretty much what was my defense in him not getting suspended as long as the other kid got suspended. And I was like, my son had him on the ground and he could have done more than that, but he did not do that.
Yeah, I mean that's what discipline teaches you, man. Like, 'cause, for the most part, when men used to fight in the street or whatnot, once one person went down, most of the men would jump in and stop the fight, and the issue was over. It would be very rare that you would see somebody wailing on somebody, grounding and pounding them on the floor. We didn't allow that. It always had to be standing up all the time. So yeah, no, it was always about self-control and discipline. Even in your worst, most angered state, you would expect it to hold back. Like, we're not at war. Like, at war is a whole different thing. You got somebody that's trying to kill you, so you better kill them. But this is the streets. Like, this dude made you mad. All right, handle that. But try to take people's life out. The funny part is you take these kids and you drop them in war, they're pissing their pants. They're shitting themselves. But on the street corner on MLK Boulevard, they wanted to claim the territory and shoot people. It's not, it don't equate to nothing. But then again, you know, they weren't taught nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, look at this shit.
Yeah. Hope it shits on your head too.
No, I just washed my hair. He's about to get off my hair.
Yeah, it's gonna shit on your head. It's gonna
No.
dupe you all over your head.
No.
Wait, where the hell did the dirt come from? What did I mean?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Say hey.
Where did it come from? Did you put it on your head?
No, he flew up there himself.
I have to teach you this. She laid an egg and the chick hatched and now done grown up. She got tired of birthing babies and figured she's gonna birth a chicken.
No.
So that's a young chicken.
Yeah.
That's
That's
a
a hen.
rooster.
That's
This is
a rooster. Oh, okay.
This is Trump.
Oh,
His
damn.
name's Trump.
Oh, see, she didn't listen to me when I told her to name him Foghorn Leghorn. She gonna get tired of talking. So I'm talking about Trump.
But you don't know why. Let me give you the quick story. So Monica named the hen Chickaletta because, you know, Paw Patrol.
Okay.
Anybody who has kids know Paw Patrol.
Okay.
And I couldn't figure out a name for him. And he kept pushing Chickaletta out the way. And remember when Trump came down the escalator and pushed that dude out the way?
Oh my
And
God.
button his little thing up. That's what he do. And I was like, that's Trump. I'm gonna name him Trump.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, jumping on I just washed my hair. Hell no. Wash my hair. That's why it's so luxurious right now.
Oh,
I just
oh, the luxurious hair. Okay.
luxurious in my Cat Williams voice. It's
Yeah, keep
luxurious.
it up. That's why you was getting beat up when you were a kid. You forgot. And now you feeling full of yourself now.
But that's what it
Not as
was.
cool.
Because I'm
Yeah,
grown.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
now you get dragged. and I look good in orange.
So okay, so in the lunch line, that's what it was. She kept slapping people with her
Yeah,
hair.
yeah. She kept on turning her head, smacking
Right,
the girls.
that's what
in
it
the back.
was.
Yeah, that's exactly
Everybody
what
else trying to get their food and they hungry. There she go.
pop. I whip my hair back and forth. I whip my hair back and forth. That's what she was doing. And that's why they went. That's why they jumped her. That's exactly.
You gonna excuse their behavior for real?
What?
That's what you're doing. We just gonna excuse their behavior because of my hair, because my hair is luxurious.
Listen, I play around.
It was the slapping. That's what it was. It was the slapping.
I wasn't slapping nothing.
It was the
You
slapping.
should have. Nah, you should have seen me. Look, hold on, real quick. You should have seen me in that era. My daddy was raising me. That man ain't had no idea to do with my hair. I look like Mufasa every day I left the damn house. It wasn't till and I can't even stand my stepmama. Where are you flying to? I can't even stand my stepmama, but that's the one thing I give her because she finally took me to a damn beautician. But my daddy, he had my ass looking like Mufasa. No wonder they made fun of me. I looked a whole hot mess.
A whole hot mess.
They were still jealous. That's the problem.
Well, now I looked a whole hot mess. I'm letting you know. I looked a whole hot mess. I looked like Mufasa.
At your worst, they were still jealous of you. Look at you. Gorgeous.
Why are you on top of the refrigerator?
Good Lord. He's doing some things. He's doing some big things. Okay.
He really is. I know what he's trying to get. He's trying to get on top of the garage grill. Go on. I don't care what you do.
Man. But yeah. So now
what are you doing? Let me go help them.
Okay. Lord have mercy. Well, all right. So okay. So now let me ask you something. Now, as a man, now you've seen a lot of these women, like for some matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you exactly what happened 3 nights ago at one of the taverns. Now keep in mind, this tavern is what you would expect a tavern to be. It's a bar and it serves food too. Well, this group of 4 young ladies came into the tavern. Now, and they were dressed very interestingly.
Scantily clad.
Yeah, well, very interestingly. So we all talking. I'm talking to a local celebrity comedian, whatnot, that I didn't know was actually really him because I'm like, he looked familiar. But anyway, so I'm sitting here and we talking. And as he got a phone call, so I started wandering around the tavern, just randomly talking to some folks, stuff like that, because I was actually there to do business or whatever. But anyway, next thing I know, I see feet in the air. I'm looking, I'm just like, this chick is on. I don't know how she got upside down. And she starts doing her legs. You know what they do in the trip.
Oh, okay.
So basically, she's twerking upside down.
Yeah.
And the bartenders are like frowning up, like, "What are you doing?" The bouncer or the security, he was like, feet on the ground, feet on the ground, feet on the ground. So he goes over there, feet on the ground. He thinks it's funny, obviously, and I'm sitting here scratching my head. Like, why do these women feel like twerking is the first go-to? Are we just standing around? You know what? I'm gonna twerk. Like, what? How does that even make sense? That makes no sense.
My best answer for that is women have a natural inclination to draw attention to themselves.
Well,
it's
not all of us.
It's biological.
Hmm.
Y'all like drawing attention to yourselves. The problem
not all of us. Nope, you're not gonna do that.
The problem is that sometimes it develops in maladaptive ways.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's nothing wrong with wanting to draw attention to yourself. What's wrong with it is how you choose to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of women choose to do it improperly, or not. I don't know, in these ways. And, you know, there's a lot. What I've noticed. This is why I'm such an anti-feminist. Is because I'm an anti-feminist.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of these women they want to deny their biology.
Okay.
And assume the certain natural inclinations in their biology are controlled or dictated by society. So they don't actually get real with who they are and the real stuff that they want. The issue is usually what they want or what they're drawn to biologically. They might not, like. I was gonna say something that's gonna get me in trouble.
Yeah, you know it.
No, because it's no different than when someone pisses you off, you just want to punch them in the face. That's a biological thing. Everybody's felt that. Someone piss you off, you want to punch them in the face. No, not me. I'm not evil like that. That's not me. I'm a kind-hearted. Bullshit. Everybody's gotten to that point where let somebody piss you off enough. You want to punch them in the face. You want to see damage done to that person. But for most people, we understand that you got to pull back, and there's a certain decorum I got to take into society to be able to get along with people, this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. But to deny that I had that original feeling, you're lying to yourself. You're lying to everybody around you, because we know that's a very general one between men and women. But men have certain urges and stuff that are biologically innate in them, and we gotta get real about. All right, this is who we are, and we gotta. If you don't put that in check, usually with men, it goes out of control really fast, right? But there's certain urges with women, and one of those is they love to draw attention to themselves. Now, drawing attention to yourself is not a bad thing. It's how you go about doing it.
I agree.
Okay.
See, she was so quick to. Let me tell you what happened. She was so quick.
But I was listening.
Then she started agreeing with him when she let me finish. Now she's like in between. She don't know how much to stand on her point.
But I let you finish, right? I didn't interrupt you, right?
I appreciate you did interrupt me, but you let me finish. I appreciate you.
But don't men in a way do that as well?
I just said that.
Mm-hmm.
So how do men do that?
Do what exactly? Just so we're clear.
So biologically, right? You're saying like the twerking and things of that nature. That they do that to attract men, right? So a lot of men also do certain things. They'll buy a certain car. They'll wear certain clothing. They'll behave a certain way because they know that's what's going to attract a woman. Mm-hmm. So how is that different?
Remember, it's attract attention, right?
But attract attention.
Attract attention was what I said. Now,
okay, so no, I agree. Attract attention. I correct myself.
Yeah.
Attract attention. So if you're a man, if I'm a man and I want to attract the attention of a woman, I want to go buy I don't even know what the hell to say. Like, I guess a Hellcat is like a big thing. I want to wear brand name clothing. I want to present myself in a certain way because I want to attract women. So it's kind of the same thing. It's just viewed differently because one is viewed sexually while the other is viewed materialistic wise.
Now let's take it back to what I was saying with the whole, someone piss you off, and you have that natural urge to want to punch them in the face, but you realize it's not socially acceptable to do. Buying a car, buying a watch, buying fancy clothes, dressing, all the way men tend to do it, usually is socially accepted. This twerking business and the way that women scantily dress and everything like that, it does give a negative pushback societally. People are not accepting of that. So if for some reason for men to draw attention to themselves, which certain cultures do, like they carry a gun on their hip, or they'll flag a bandana because they're part of a gang, or like those are maladaptive ways that men draw attention to themselves that are not really socially cohesive.
No, and I agree that you already know that I do agree with that part. Like, I'm not with the twerking and half nakedness. That's not how I roll. I'm just pointing out the fact that the same way that women, may dress sexually to attract a certain type of man, whether it's the right or wrong person. Let me just correct
it. Hold on. I'll let you finish. I just want to correct what you're saying, because remember, I'm saying drawing attention. It's drawing attention to oneself. It's not so much specifically for a purpose, not just sexual purpose.
Okay, well, attention. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Attention, but when a man pulls up and he comes out and he has diamonds on his wrist and he has a grill in his mouth and he has a hell or whatever the newest vehicle is, I don't know. I don't keep up with that stuff. Isn't he not doing that for attention as well?
I didn't say he wasn't.
I'm just pointing, but you spoke about women, so I'm just pointing out the opposite for men. That's all.
No, so my stance. Hold on, let me clarify this, because my stance on being an anti-feminist is because women have a tendency to deny the fact that there's a biological in this feminist realm. I'm just talking about that. That's the whole point where I was saying women.
But it's the same for the masculine realm. Wait. It's the same for the masculine realm, because a man feels masculine when he can get the attention from the materialistic things that he has to draw that attention from the women that he seeks. So really, it's the same thing. I don't agree with twerking. I don't agree with women walking around half naked. Y'all know that. Y'all know that. I'm a modest ass woman. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I'm a wife. I don't play that shit. But I'm just pointing out that the same can be put in reverse, where the men who are seeking attention are the ones. What do they always say? Excuse me for one moment. They always say the men with the smallest peen get the biggest cars, for example, right? So sometimes we get things to try to compensate for who we are and what we're actually seeking. So it's, in a sense, it's the same thing, is all I'm saying.
I'm trying to show you where it's different. Are you gonna listen?
Probably. I'm gonna hear you, but I might not listen. Go ahead.
Okay, all right. I appreciate the effort.
Because I just said what I said.
I know.
You already said what you said, and we're pretty much agreeing. But you're so anti-feminist, which I agree with you because I'm not a feminist. Yeah. But I'm pointing out the fact that there are men who do the same exact thing, but the only difference is that women use their sexualization as their tool, their boobs, their butts, their hips, their waists, and twerking and being sexy. And men use what they have, which is their money, their status, their cars, their clothing, their what they call swag. And that's what brings them the attention. So both of them are attention seeking, is my point.
Are you ready for the differentiation between the two?
Actually, I'm ready for Dedrick to say something, because you were going to say something. Yeah, I'm ready for Dedrick to cut this thing because you're just gonna say the same
handle it.
thing that you just said.
I'm not gonna say the same thing. I'm trying to point out the difference because everything you said I don't disagree with, but your conclusion is off. Because the key point between the two is the social acceptance. The twerking, the scantily clad stuff is far less socially accepted by all the status-seeking measures that men do. Everything you talk about, the only time you'll ever get any level of pushback is when you mention like the grills and I guess the outlandish jewelry that men tend to wear. But for the most part, there's not much that men do, or I guess even anything that has to do with the gang culture is maladaptive, I would say, right? But for the majority, like, why does a woman think she can go into a typical establishment, stand on her hands, and twerk, and get upset if she gets pushback, right? That's that level of maladaptiveness that nobody wants to ever combat and push back against. And when you do, it's because you're a misogynist, and that's why you're pushing back against it. Whereas if you push back against gang culture and all that stuff, it's dangerous and it's maladaptive. Well, yeah, everybody can agree and see, or for the most part, most of society can see, male maladaptive attention-seeking behavior is maladaptive. But when it comes to women, hold on. When it comes to women, there's this pushback against the fact that you even try to call it maladaptive. Feminists will stand in your face and say that is not maladaptive.
But it doesn't have to be gang related. It's just there are certain things that men do. Hold on, even my 12-year-old son at this point.
I'm done.
No, okay, be done then. But my 12-year-old son at this point is like putting on cologne to go to school because he wants to smell good. There are certain things that men also do for attention. Sorry about my farmyard. My only point is that the same way that women use, and I'm not agreeing with it. I want to make that very clear. I don't agree with the ass poking out in the pictures and the profile pictures and twerking everywhere. I don't agree with that. But the same way that women use that for attention is the same way that a lot of men will go and spend their entire freaking tax return to get a BMW to impress, to gain attention from women. So it goes both ways, and it doesn't necessarily have to be gang related or nothing like that. Okay, we need to address that.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard at the beginning of the segue into a different thing, what my most recent what do I want to call it? What I witnessed recently at one of the taverns. Did you hear that part, Jessica?
I did, yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. So yeah, because all I was trying to figure out is why is twerking the go-to move? Like you're in a public establishment, you're at a bar, you're at a tavern where people are eating, but your very first thing to do is get upside down at the bar in the chair and twerk. Like, what are you doing? Like that's always been that's like been one of the things that baffles me the most. Why is that your first go-to to go do? Like, out of all the things that you could have done, you're in there, you're already scantily clad. Now you want to draw more attention to yourself for some reason. Why? You're in a tavern and all of those people in there are grown folks in there. Ain't nobody in there throwing dollars. So what are you doing? You're in a public establishment, and that's the very first thing you do. I saw like with the random dudes that be walking around quizzing people, asking them random questions. Well, because she couldn't answer the question, the very first thing she went to doing was twerking. Wow, that was your solution? To throw everybody to draw distractions away from the fact that you basically don't know anything. So your first thing you went to was to twerk. Like, I'm trying to figure out why is that the go-to, like for these women. And even though you're a woman, you're the wrong person to ask about that because you don't do that. You wouldn't do that. So my thing was I wish I had somebody ratchet just so they could rationally tell me or attempt to tell me what the thinking is. I saw your face because your whole face was like, yeah, the subtitle, the closed captioning under your face was, there is no rationale to that. That's I heard.
But here's the thing: the rationale. There's no rationale. Okay, let me be very clear. There's no rationale. But the problem is that a lot of people, I guess, support it. They amp it up. When they do it, they be like, "Yeah, girl." It could be women and men. Yeah, girl, get it, girl, get it, girl, get it, girl. And so they feel that that's a validation for them. Again, I don't agree with it.
Okay.
You can't catch me twerking. The way my knees and my back set up, I ain't twerking nothing. It ain't happening. But even if my knees and my back was good, I am a married woman and I ain't twerking.
Right.
Now, maybe if I'm at the club and I'm single, that might be a little different. But I ain't that, so I can't speak on it. I think it's tacky. Even when I was single, I did the 1-2 fucking step. I did the R. Kelly 1 step, side to side, round and round. That's what I did. I ain't doing all that, But my point is, I'll get off my freaking head. Trump, get off my head, dude. Get off my head.
Trump been trying to dominate his woman. That's part of his nature. Trying to dominate his woman.
Get off my head. But like I said, I think my biggest point is the same way we do have to acknowledge that there are some men that will go out and buy Mercedes. They will go out and buy this. They're not buying it because it's something that they can afford, for one. So, most of them. But they do that because they want to impress other people. So unfortunately, a lot of our young ladies get the hell off.
I thought I'd do fly up.
Get off my head.
Oh my
God. Unfortunately, you got choking. Give me a second, y'all.
Man, I was gonna ask her a question when she's done.
Well, I mean,
I was gonna ask who typically or more often or more severely falls into that category.
Which category you mean?
Of trying to draw attention to themselves.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying that men don't do it, but I would argue that women try to draw attention to themselves way more than men do.
Well, I mean, that I mean,
and and again, this is not a bad thing. Like, it's not like women's main way of attracting a mate is by displaying some level of sexuality. Why? Because men are drawn into them by sex. So it's again, this is like the biological symphony, dance, musical. This is how it works. So this is, again, something that's built in nature that gets used in a maladaptive way.
Well, you guys do realize that, and I looked this up, and y'all can look it up. I don't remember the name of the tribe. One of y'all might know, because I remember when all this started a few years back. I looked it up, and there's African tribes that actually do, because they try to say, "Oh, it's our culture," right? So I was like, well, let me look it up as far as culture wise. And there are African tribes that use the method of twerking to find a husband.
It's called,
but like they're literally, like it's like literally though. It's not like they're at the club doing it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're literally, I guess, performing a dance, kind of like just like animals. There are birds, right? For God, get off my freaking head, Jesus Christ! Get off. I think it's like, for example, that's why they say that males are prettier than the females. Like, for example, the peacock. The peacock, the male is the bright and colorful one, right? Mm-hmm. And the female peacock is ugly as hell. I'm letting y'all know that now. There's a peacock farm up the street.
Brown's not ugly.
Well, it's not ugly, but they're not as colorful as the males. But a lot of, they have to do this mating ritual, this dance to attract the female to get them to mate with them. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the same thing when you think about the African tribes that do it in that manner. And so it can be looked as a cultural thing, but in the westernized culture, it's not a cultural thing. It's just thought behavior.
And to be clear about what Jessica is saying, if you're listening, it's called Mapoka.
Yes, that's it.
And it is a beautiful dance in the tradition in Africa. It's a beautiful dance. Lord have mercy, it's a beautiful dance.
There's a key phrase here: everything in context.
In context, because, and like I said, the context in which I used it, culture has nothing to do with it. Now, if you are in a setting to where this is a display of a cultural thing, that's something totally different. But with our Black women in particular, and it's become so commonplace till it's desensitized now. It doesn't even have the effect that it originally had, because once we as men used to see that wobble, that's why we love sundress season so much. We love that wobble, okay? We love it. However, when it gets to the point where every single breath you take, you gotta freaking twerk, like it becomes irritating. Like, just like with sagging has always been irritating. It needs to go away.
I'm surprised it's still here. Honestly, I figured it would die with a fashion trend or something, but it's still around. It's wild.
Bro, when I graduated from high school, they was just starting to do it. That's like what, 92, 93?
Yep.
And it should have gone then. Now, I'm not saying twerking in general should go away, because it's beautiful within context. However, people got to stop trying to say it's a cultural thing to justify them doing ratchet behavior just because. How does jumping on top of the roof of a car constitute cultural behavior? Twerking. How? Like, why are you in a restaurant jumping on the seats in a restaurant twerking? Why would you do that? Why would you go to a bar that is not a strip club, that is a bar where other people are also eating? That's a tavern. You have the bar, you have the seating outside the bar area, and you decide to get upside down and start twerking. For me, it's almost like a mental illness. Like, what are you doing?
I got a novel idea. Let me know what y'all think about it. I think people nowadays, I want to say mostly women, but I think people in general nowadays have fallen in love with the courting process.
With the what?
The courting process.
Okay.
They never want to leave it. Whatever the courting process is, the engagement of first meeting somebody, having those feelings, everything's brand new. but then when those feelings go away, they just wash their hands. They want to start it all over again. And in loving that, part of that is, boy loves the courting process too. Trump loving it, jumping up there, trying to fertilize some eggs. Look at him, he's trying to fertilize some eggs. You're too young. Tell him he's too young. His balls need to drop.
What? What do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want?
But yeah, no. So I think a lot of people just are falling in love with the courting process. Because they don't want to move on to the next process. The next process is seen as
so.
So part of that is remember how Jessica was saying, if I was single and in a club, all hands off. Twerking is no longer out of the norm anymore because it's part of the single courting process, right? But people tend to want to live in that forever, for as long as they possibly can, and they don't want to give that up. So once you stay in, it happens with anything. Once you stay in a certain area for too long, after a while, you start to want to try to make it novel. So before it was just simple, doodle brown, hands on your knees. Then, after a while now, because we've been doing hands on your knees for how long can you be doing hands on your knees before you can start getting bored with that? You're looking for something new, but you don't want to leave this process, this courting process, right? Because you get to do hands on your knees. But now, let me lift the leg up. Boom. Oh, shoot. Oh, let me drop it down low. Oh, let me bounce it off the ground. Oh. Right, so they just try to make it the same thing as novelist process because they don't want to move on to the next level, which actually requires more investment. It's a little bit more stable, and you don't get those feelings, the excitement that happens in the courting phase. I just thought of it now, so have at it, rip at it. I don't care.
Understood. I don't know. It's for me this type of Western cultural thing. A lot of stuff is wearing our people down to the point. And when I say wearing us down, it does nothing to help the culture of this Western civilization. Mapoka has a specific purpose. Mapoka, when you're doing those ceremonies and when you're doing those dances and stuff like that. Yeah, they're beautiful to look at and watch, but they have a specific purpose. In Western civilization and culture here in America, there's no real purpose to it. They just know they can wobble it and wiggle it, and that's what they're doing. And the thing is that it's gotten to the point where it's cheapened itself. Like, it's one thing for it to be a particular dance within a particular realm of where that dance is supposed to fit in. But it's another thing that every chance you get, this is what you're doing. That's your go-to. And that's why I was asking, like, why is it the go-to? Why you have nothing else in your repertoire as a woman to go to but that?
No,
why?
It draws the most attention. There's other things they could do.
But that's what I'm saying. You're
but
not
it draws the most attention.
Well, that's true. But you're not in this. But you're drawing the wrong type of attention.
Right. Like, especially when you start dealing with kids. Especially like kids, like, attention is attention. They don't care if it's wrong.
Well, that's true. But
wrong or right attention.
I've seen grown women still do that. They still do it every chance that they get.
When you are either addicted to attention or starving for attention, it doesn't matter how the attention comes. You just want, because attention is something like it almost validates your existence, right? If someone's paying attention to you, that means you exist, right? Or what's the difference between you being here and not being here if nobody's paying attention to you?
And that's what I was going to say, and that's why, like, a lot of. And I say this about a lot of topics, whether it's twerking, whether it's racism, whether it's no matter what it is, if you keep giving oxygen to a fire, it's going to keep burning.
Attention is currency.
It is. People love attention, So if the girl gets up at Waffle House and she starts twerking, and everybody's like, "Hey, hey, hey," then guess what? The next time she go to Waffle House, she's gonna do the same damn thing, or she's gonna go somewhere else.
Even
She's
worse.
do the same thing.
Even worse, the girl that was watching her doing that and getting me all the attention, she gonna do it too.
She's gonna do it too now.
And just to draw, and I didn't even this just popped up. So, and just to prove my point, this is y'all know who Sexy Red is. So this guy randomly, he's in London. And he randomly runs into Sexy Red on the streets of London. And guess what she's doing?
Twerking. Yeah. Yeah.
Like this stuff is stuff you can't make up. That's why very few people take us seriously, because we don't take ourselves seriously. We're geniuses in pretty much everything, but we dumb ourselves down for nothing. And I don't understand. I don't understand.
No, hold on. Let me stop you there.
Stop me there.
Let me stop you there.
She after you now.
So there's a difference between we.
She's like, that's them.
Yeah, no, that's them.
No. When I say we, I'm
no,
talking about
no, you can't.
Yeah.
I thought she was coming after you now.
You're gonna be doing that.
I love you.
I'm sorry. White people don't be out there doing that like that. We don't.
I don't give a damn about white folks. I don't give a damn about white folks.
Exactly.
I don't give a damn about white folks.
We, our culture, our people, our black people.
No, that's not our culture. No, that's their culture.
No.
That's not my culture.
No.
My culture is we're gonna have some collard greens, we're gonna play some spades, we're gonna have a few drinks, we're gonna have some fun. Ain't nobody gonna be fighting, ain't nobody gonna be twerking. We're at a kids party, we're gonna have a kids party with Kool-Aid and barrels. That's what we do. No, that's not my culture. That's their culture.
Let me ask you a question. When a white person sees a black person doing this type of thing, do you think that they separate that?
I know they don't. Because I talk to white people. But I don't care about white people.
But that's my whole point. When people see this, they don't separate it as this group of black people and this group of black people.
Hold on.
They see it as black people. That's what they see.
I'm gonna give so real quick, because I know we coming up on time here.
Yeah.
I have an algorithm that is crazy, right? So because I'm a part of a lot of religious groups, and I'm a part of a lot of political groups. Right. So I get a taste of white folks. I'm talking about white folk. Not the cool white folk. Okay. So there was a post one day, and it was, I ain't gonna lie, it was racist as hell. And I was like, I want to read the comments. So I went and read the comments. And so I said, I'm gonna make a comment. And I said, hey, so for anybody that's really a racist, I said, I want to ask you a question. I said, do you dislike black people, or do you dislike the N-word? That's how I wrote it.
Right.
And I got about 10 comments back from white folks. And all of them said the same thing. They said, no, I don't hate black people. So I got black people that I respect, I admire, but I do not like the black ghetto, ratchet, thug culture. But I also understand that all black people are not a part of the ghetto, ratchet, thug culture. Mm-hmm. So they see the difference too. I'm not saying all of them. Uh-huh. They see the difference too. They're like, okay, Maurice, he's a stand-up guy. Dedrick, he's a stand-up guy. Billy, he's a stand-up guy. Walmart Tavius, that runs around robbing people. They just fall out his chair. I just made that one up.
No, say that name again.
Walmart Tavius.
Oh Jesus.
Walmart Tavius and Datisha. Yeah, no, we don't really like them because they promote the thug and the ratchet and the ghetto culture.
She said,
and here's what I learned about white people, and this is why, like a lot of people be like, why you be talking to white folks, like that like got an issue with black folks, and I'm like, because I can't grow and I can't learn if I don't listen, and it's like white folks tell me straight up, they be like, the difference between us and y'all, and I be like, what? And they be like, we separate ourselves from the trash, and y'all embrace y'all trash. And I'm like, oh,
but this fact, it's fact.
Ooh, and I'm like, I can't even. Yeah, you right. And I feel bad because I'm like, I can't even defend my people in that one.
Right.
I'm just like, oh shit, yeah, you right, and I feel like crap because I'm ready to be like, I'm defending my people, but I'm like, no, he's right or she's right, and I'm like, yeah.
So that's no problem.
That's what I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I got no problem giving up my black card. You know how we said, like, we black people, this is what we do. I'm like, I don't do that. I guess I ain't black. I got no problem. I headed to
but see, but that's my whole point. That's my whole point. I agree with what you both just said. It's that when you go out here, for instance, like I just said, this is in London. You took your black ass around the world, and that's the very first freaking thing that you did. Mm-hmm. Why? Like, that's what you're doing. Like, when you go to another culture, you go to another place, you go to another city, you go wherever you go, you're a representation of who we are. Now, I'm not saying that that kind of ratchet behavior represents me, because it's like what y'all saying, that doesn't represent me individually. It doesn't represent the group of people that I associate with individually. It doesn't. My circles are nothing like that. Your circles are nothing like that. Jessica's circles are nothing like that. That's not what we do. However, when these individuals go out here and they're among people, again, in this example, we're talking about London. You're around the world in London, and you still around here shaking your ass like that's what you're supposed to do in a foreign country. That's what you're supposed to do. Like, how do you expect people to take you seriously? Like, for me, I don't understand the mentality that surrounds that. I just don't. And I'm not supposed to understand it because it's not something that needs to be understood. But for me, I would love to have a conversation with those individuals so they can explain it to me. You're an entertainer, sure, I get it. You're here to entertain and make money. Okay, fine. But in the bigger span of things, I'll put it like this. I don't ever see, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't ever see Asian girls or women or whatever, I rarely see them doing something that's going to embarrass their whole race of people, because they have certain standards and traditions to where wherever you go in the world, you represent the family or you represent this group of individuals who look like us. But yet,
but that goes back to what I just said, where they say the difference between us and between them, and this was a white person. I didn't talk to an Asian person, so I can't speak for them. But they said the difference between you guys and our guys is when we know that they're, let's say, pale garbage, because I don't want to be careful what I say. We separate ourselves from that.
Right.
But you guys embrace those cultures, and it shows in your culture with your music, with everything that is going on in your communities. Because we see it on the news, and like I said, I'm just like, God, I can't even argue.
Yeah. People don't understand. They don't understand the full effects and consequences of the mixture of individualism and liberalism. Because when you see like Sexy Red doing that, The individualism says she's only responsible for her and herself. Whenever she makes a choice, it only affects her. It doesn't affect the communities. It doesn't affect anybody around her. It only affects her. It's her choice, her body, right? My body, my choice. That's where the individualism comes from. But then the liberalism also says whatever is right and wrong is for me to decide. I get to decide what's right and wrong. The community doesn't get to decide. Society doesn't get to decide. I get to decide. So as long as I'm not hurting nobody, that's the number one caveat. That's the limiter. As long as I'm not hurting nobody,
Right.
I can do whatever I want.
Right.
So this mixture of this individualism and liberalism is what's going to excuse any behavior. Now you compare it to Asian cultures and stuff like that. They're extremely conservative cultures. You can't just do what you want. You have a responsibility to your community and your society, because you didn't get here by yourself. That's what they teach. You didn't get here by yourself. You are standing on the shoulders of giants. People were here before you. The streets that you walk on, you don't have mud on your shoes, is because someone came before you and put it there, that you could walk with your pretty heels on now. And you owe a certain gratitude and respect and reverence for those that came before you.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I agree with you. I agree with you. I do 100%. There's no caveat to anything that you just now said. The problem is that, just alluding to what Jessica just said, is the support that goes behind it. The ratchet community will support it. So therefore, they're going to continue to do it because they're still making money off of the support that they're getting. So that's where the issue is. You know what I'm saying? So if that kind of behavior wasn't supported and they weren't making any more money from doing it, they wouldn't do it. They would do the things that's conducive for making the money. Y'all remember back, and now I don't know how much you remember, Maurice, from back in the day. I don't know. I know Jessica remembers. Y'all remember the self-destruction? You headed for self-destruction. Yeah. So, you also remember when there was R&B that was supporting men being men and stand-up men, and they did a rendition of "You Will Know." It was all the R&B singers, male R&B singers, singing "You Will Know." All that positivity, it generated a whole lot of great feel-good moments for our culture. But here again, when the tide shifted and the industry did not want us conscious, all of a sudden the music shifted. All of the backing shifted. All of the bribes shifted. All of the money shifted to stuff that was not conducive to growth in the Black community. So now that they have this full-blown things going on, now you whatever goes. So you paying our musicians to literally contribute nothing to our culture. That's what's going on. And we've seen time and time again in the musical realm where the music is trash, absolute trash, but it got to catch a beat though.
Sometimes it don't even have a catchy beat. Like, speaking as a musician, the garbage after 2010, that's the limit. 2010. After 2010, it's just been garbage after garbage that they've been putting on the airwaves. And the reality is, and I'm a firm believer, call me a conspiracy theorist if you want, but I'm a firm believer that they're finding the worst of the worst and they're blasting it all over everywhere. And, people are drones. So it's what's popping right now. Because I know when I was a kid, I don't know if you remember that song. Them girls in these Duke song. I want you to.
Yeah.
It was garbage. That was a bad song. But that's what was popping in my bus that summer.
Yeah.
And so I still to this day remember it. And it's like, boom, boom, shake, shake the room. Boom, boom, shake. Because that's what was popping at that time. And they learn this. People in the music industry, you know, some of the head honchos of the music industry realize they can almost feed us anything, and we'll swallow it.
Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe that could be next week's topic, because that is
Yeah.
something to dive deep into.
Yeah.
Because the music industry, the music industry
We gonna go
is
see.
really changed. Look, because
Chickens on
people
the
keep messing with me.
Wait.
What?
Yeah,
you
it's
wanna
about
say
that
hi?
time.
You want to say hi? Say hi.
Hey, Miss Momo.
Hey.
Hey, Miss Momo. Hey, Miss Momo.
How you doing?
How you doing?
That's good. Oh, where's my popsicle?
What are you doing up there, chicken?
Nah, she chasing the chicken. Where's my popsicle?
Can Maurice have a popsicle?
Give me some. Oh, don't be stingy. Don't be stingy.
She ran.
I know.
My girl.
But,
No,
hey,
but
Maurice, now you know. Now you know.
Okay. Can I finish this call, please? Thank you. Go in the house. Goodbye. No, you goodbye, not me goodbye. You goodbye.
She's like, go where you want. I'm here.
Right. In the house now. I'm not asking you again. Thank you.
She's gonna ask you.
But the music industry, you know, like you pointed out, you know, we had UNITY, we had you know, self-destruction, we had positive music. And that was a time where I saw a lot of positivity in the Black community. And the industry wasn't having that. And then that's when they turned over to your NWAs and your gangster rap, and they completely changed the game. And people think that I be bugging, like you said, conspiracy theorists, whatever. But I'm like, no, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's true. You got hurt. Okay, you got hurt, y'all.
Even like on my Spotify, I got Spotify. And you know, I usually shuffle through all the songs that I like, you know. So I shuffle through all these songs that I like, and I realize there's certain songs they just never come up on the shuffle. They just don't come up on the shuffle. Let me put I put what's that song from Doechi that's been going on for the longest time? The anxiety, you know, yeah. So I put that thing in there. Now I got you know, I think I have like 600 songs left on my thing, and it usually cycles through them, and that song keeps on coming up over and over again. Despite this song's on there, I absolutely love that just don't come up on my shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the algorithm, they're pushing certain songs towards me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They can't push the songs that I haven't liked. Right?
Yeah.
Or else, you know, it
Or
messes with
listen
the brand.
to.
But yeah,
sometimes it's just about listening to them. Even if you listen, you can listen to 3 seconds of it.
No, but remember, it's all the songs that I say I liked, and I put it in a grouping, like a playlist of songs, right? So they can't push a song outside of that and just sneak it into the thing, right? But the fact that this one song, that tells me this one song is tagged in a certain way to play as often as possible, regardless of the other songs. Because there's other songs I would love to listen to a lot more because I love them, but it doesn't come up on my shuffle as much. So they waited intentionally.
Okay, so let me go ahead and wrap this up. Get them shout outs and stuff like that. I want to give a special shout out to Meet the World Image Solution, where you can have all of your literary services needs met. You can find Dr. Rhonda M. Lawson on www.mtw for Meet the World. So that's mtw imagesolutions.com. Go shop her merch. Go pick her brain. Go ahead and send her a message letting her know that you're ready to edit, get your book edited, or you want some other literary services. Everything will be on the website. Please check it out. Also, next is my baby, Mr. Craves Cookies, where it's a party in your mouth. If you've never thrown your mouth a party, you might want to do that with Mr. Craves Cookies. We have over 54 different kinds of cookies and bars, and also customers in over 28 states so far, and we hope to add your state soon if we haven't already. Also on the stage, we have our musical dynamo, Mr. Maurice. Please tell them where they can find you and your music.
All right, yeah, come check me out on my YouTube channel. That's Maxi Studio Music, spelled lowercase m, lowercase a, capital X, lowercase s, lowercase I. Make sure you double check that auto spell. Sometimes I like to mess with that. So it's Maxi Studio Music. You search for me on YouTube. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about the songs you hear.
All right. Thank you so much. And so, Miss Spears and I, we want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you. We're going to have an exciting show next week. We're going to be further discussing what we ended up discussing today. I think that'll be a great topic because, because there's so many different facets to it. And also there's some history behind it as well, that are factual pieces of history. And we're going to have some clips for you to take in so you can understand and see what we're talking about, and then not just us running our mouths about it. Because I think it has an influence on our behavior, our culture, our country, and all that good stuff. So I want you guys to tune in for a very educational and entertaining show next week. Ms. Fields, anything you have to say to bring us out?
I love you guys, and thank you for tuning in. As always, that's really all I got today. We discussed everything, so
Right.
And I do think we should pick up for next week. I think that we should maybe discuss the topic of the music industry and the impact that it has. I think
All
that'll
right.
be a really good subject.
All right. I will be collecting our media for it and trying to make sure we have some really good visual for you so we can discuss those things. All right.
And hopefully my chickens won't be on my head. I'm like a chicken head. Fork, chicken head. Like,
Wow. Boy, that was just funny. And then the look on your face while this rooster is sitting on your head was hilarious. I'm sorry. That you can't buy it.
Hey, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, I'm always gonna keep it real. Y'all gonna get the real deal with me. And then look at this one.
Hey there, how are you?
I'm about to put her butt to bed.
I know that's right. All right. Well, thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in. This has been Dedrick the Cookie Man, Miss Fields, and always welcome to the stage, Mr. Maurice Maxi.